Hey guys, it's Dad, Triple L. Welcome back to my channel. It's all about love, life, and living. Today, guys, I've decided since we did the cheese candy that we'll just take ourselves back a little bit. Yeah, let's do a throwback. So today, come bake with me while we make sweet potato pie. We have 4 potatoes. They're medium size. I baked them, and I prefer baking instead of boiling because I think it keeps the nutrients inside. We've got 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, a half teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of nutmeg. We've got your evaporated milk. I prefer it instead of whole milk because it has less water, as well as it's sweet and it has some vitamin D. I've got 3 eggs that's been sitting at room temperature and 3/4 cups of melted butter. Well, softened butter instead of melted, but it's nice and soft. It's been sitting at room temperature as well. I have in the back 1.5 cups of sugar, and we're gonna use a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Let's get to it. All right, guys, so we've got started here, and as you see, I'm using a whisk instead of a mixer, and I guess you could use a mixer. I've never used it with a mixer. I always use a whisk, and the reason for being is that when I stir my pie from the beginning, as you'll see, I'm gonna have strings on here, and the whisk actually helps get some of those strings from out of your sweet potato. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and add our butter in. As I said, I've got 3/4 cups of butter. Add a little bit at a time and get that mixed in here. And I'm gonna put the remaining of my butter. I just split it up in half. And we just continue to mix. Okay, guys, so now I've changed to my spoon. It seems like we had most of the strings out. Now I'm gonna add my eggs. As you see, I went ahead and cracked my eggs so that we won't have shells or have to go digging in here just in case shells have fallen inside. And see, it's nice and smooth. All right, guys, let's go ahead and add some sugar. And as I said, this is 1.5 cups of sugar. Just add a little sugar at a time. Stir it in. Okay, guys, before I start putting in my my vanilla flavor and my nutmeg and my allspice, I'm just gonna take a minute and I'm just gonna poke my pie shells just a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you what else I'm gonna do as well. Sometimes I poke my pie shells and sometimes I don't. The last time, a couple of times, I usually don't. So this time I figured I'll just try it and do it this time. But what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna line them with parchment paper, and I'm gonna sit them in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. Probably about 10 minutes. Don't need that long. And I'm gonna let my pie shells cook first. Now I like my pie shells to be kind of crunchy. I'm gonna line it with the parchment paper. I'm gonna line it with the parchment paper. And I'm gonna put a little, some beans inside. I'm sure you guys have seen that before. And it works really good. It makes it where it don't really cook. But it just makes sure that the pie shell just has a little crunch to them instead of being wet. Some people like their pie shells to be kind of wet. I mean, I eat them either way, but I prefer when it has that nice little crunch to them, where it has that little crunch in the bottom of it and around it, so it won't be so wet tasting. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say, so it just won't be wet tasting. So I'm just taking these beans, and it can be any kind of bag of beans. These are just some little cheap food line beans I put in here, and I just line them. And I've seen this done before. And so I tried it, and I liked it. So it's just one of the things I always do is put my beans in. And I'm going to go ahead and set them in the oven about 10 minutes. My oven has already been preheated, and it still is on now. 325, and I'm going to put my pies in for 45 minutes. Okay, now that I put the pie shells inside the oven, guys, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use a half teaspoon of allspice. If you like a lot of that, you know, you can use more, but that's pretty much enough for me. And then I'm going to do a teaspoon of nutmeg. And sometimes it's not quite a teaspoon, guys. Sometimes it's a little less than that, like. And now I have a tablespoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon's pretty much the same. And I have a tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, guys, so let's start to stir. Go ahead and put our milk in. I'm going to leave just a little bit so we can stir in our flour. Okay. Get this stirred in, guys. Hey, guys, so we're back. So if you look, my pie shells, they're ready. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I was just letting it cool a little bit so I won't burn myself. Even though I do have gloves on, but I don't want to burn this rubber on these gloves either. But they smell delicious. So they was in there for about 10 to 12 minutes. As I say, mine always is that. But I did look at the timer. And remember, my stove was already preheated at 325. Okay. So if I remove the beads, let's see what we have here. Oh, look, guys. Yay. And then there's another one here. And that way, like as I said, it's going to give me a nice crunchy crust the way I like it. Okay, guys. So we're going to pour the filling inside the pie shells here. And then we're going to go ahead and stick them inside the oven. And then we'll see you back in about 45 to 50 minutes. Okay? See you then. Hey, guys. Welcome back. And here we have it, the sweet potato pies. Let's go ahead and get us a little bite of this. If you see, guys, the crust here has a nice little snap to it, the crunch to it. The bottom of the crust, you see the bottom of it, has a nice little texture to it where it's not really, really moist. And that's pretty much what I like in my sweet potato pies. So let's give it a taste, guys. Nice and crummy from the bottom of the shell, and the pie have that nice smooth silk taste to it, just the way it should be. All right, guys, until next time, much love to you. Oh yeah, you know what it is. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for another time, and I'll be back with Deb, Triple L, with love, life, and living.